The Economist is a London-based magazine that targets highly educated, cultural readers and claims an audience of many influential executives and policymakers. In 2016, The Economist released its traditional end-of-year edition, where it predicts events of the coming year. The World in 2017 publication predicts death and turmoil using tarot cards and cryptic symbolism. What does it all mean? Find out next on this episode of Decode Your Reality. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode Your Reality. Today we're doing one on The Economist's magazine that was released in the late months of 2016. This would be the world in 2017, their predictions. And this is a London-based magazine. London is where the crown sits at the 51st degree north latitude. That has a ton to say about the position of where this magazine derives itself from. Obviously they're using magic because they're using the tarot system in here. And what does all this mean? What do these words mean? All these things that are highlighted. We're going to get into that. And we're going to get into that hot and heavy. We're going to break all this stuff down. Found some really major gold nuggets in here. So here we go. Now before I start, these are my methods used for decoding. I'm big into Chaldean numerology. Why? Because it only is the only cipher that goes up to the number 8. And I believe that there are 8 chakra points. And this is the most accurate when it comes to decoding the reality. I'm bringing science into this, the elements of the periodic table, alchemy, true alchemy, using numerology and science tied together. And then, of course, the tarot system, which is embedded in all of those. And then, of course, last but not least, as I always say, common sense and logic. You got to have that stuff really to tie this all together. So this is the website here, The Economist. This is their World in 2017 magazine. You can buy it if you want, $13.95. But this talks about the look ahead, Trump's new presidency, yada, yada, yada. But here's what I found, and this was the biggest gold nugget out of this entire thing. I couldn't figure it out 2 years ago when this first came out. And lo and behold, I'm watching a YouTube video, and somebody was on stage talking about this, and I decided to give it a whirl and then start to break it down using the atomic weights. And, like I said, I don't even know if these guys that created this magazine are realistically knowing that these numbers tie in as what they're doing right now. I don't even know if that's even true. Maybe they don't even know that, but that's really doesn't really matter. What matters is what's behind all of this kind of stuff. And when you take these cards and you match them up with their atomic elements, this is the 16th card, the Tower card, which would be sulfur. The Judgment card is 20, which would be calcium. The World card is 21, which is scandium. The Hermit card is the 9th card, which is fluorine. Death card, magician, and so on. And here's all the proper elements related to their cards. And what they're doing is they're taking these atomic weights, the average atomic weights, 32 for sulfur, 40 for calcium, 44 for scandium, 18 for fluorine, so on and so forth. And when you add up all these 8 elements, or these 8 cards, you get the number 216. And this is massive. Ask Mr. John Petrie, one of my fellow decoders. He'll tell you exactly how big the number 216 is. It's extremely huge. It's the divine triangle in numerology. I wanted to throw this in there because I thought this had some relevance as well. You notice the 216 right there. Revelation 2:21 verses 6. And of course, it talks about God being the Alpha and the Omega. I thought this was absolutely mind-blowing when you bring that into the 216 and how this right here is related to that 216. And right there, that scripture right there is kind of fitted in there. Now, when you go to this website right here, evananderson.com, this is the decimal places of pi. I like figuring this stuff out as well. And we go 216 decimal places past the 3 point. You'll notice I have it highlighted. It ends up being the number 33, the master creative mind, the number 33. We all know, if you study the occult, how big the number 33 is. It is the element arsenic, which is tied to the 74, which is tied to death. We could go on, but I thought that was absolutely fascinating right there. The 216's tied to the 33. Now, if we focus on this year coming up, and I'm not one to make predictions, but if we focus on the 216th day of this year, it would be August 4th, 2019, and that would leave 149 days remaining in the year. And why is that significant? Why did I highlight that? Because if you divide those two together, look at the number you end up getting, 1.44. And then, of course, let's not forget the 96 behind that. 96 is the number of the Tetragrammaton, but 144,000, that's tied to neodymium, the 60th element, which is tied to Jehovah, which is tied to Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Right there, absolutely, completely blew me away when I got that right there. 216, again, we're talking about the 216, right? We're talking about the 216 right here. And when you break that down in the English ordinal, you get the number 144, just like we got right here. Unbelievable if you ask me. The significance is there. Unbelievable if you ask me. Now, the divine triangle is the 216. It's the 345. I figured let's break all these cards down numerically and in the numerological aspects, and that's what I did right here. And I ended up getting the 298 based upon all these words. The second element, the ninth element, and the eighth element, helium, fluorine, and oxygen. And when we add those up together, 4, 18, and 15, you get the number 37. And this is massive because the number 37 is tied to the sun and moon, and it's what I believe to be the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark would be perhaps the firmament that goes over the top of the earth and holds it into place. And I put this out here before. If you're a fan of The Punisher on Netflix, this is the character's name in the comic books, Frank Castle. And I know I'm certain they did this on purpose to represent the 18th and 19th card representing the Ark, which covers the earth. Frank is an 18, Castle's a 19. And of course, look at the elements, argon and potassium. You bring those together, it comes out to be Ark through the English language. And then, of course, when you measure these out, 39.948 and 39.098, it ends up being the number 79, which is gold. Gold is huge when it comes to the esoteric and the occult. I thought that was absolutely mind-blowing and fascinating, and just the fact that these equal 37, and it's the Ark of the Covenant. Is that what they're trying to display here? Is that the purpose or the intention? Now, obviously, we want to back this up. I don't want you just to take my word for it, the 18th and 19th, but the sun and moon also equals the number 37, and that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the number 37 right here. Right there is the number 37. So that's what we're focusing on right now, the sun and the moon. I believe that's the Ark. I mean, even in the English ordinal, which I don't really use much other than the Chaldean. I think this one's the runner-up. I used to be a big septenary fan, but I think Chaldean's number 1. This would be number 2 because this evenly matches up with the numbers 1 through 26. But look at what you get, 111 with the sun and moon. That tells us a lot right there. You don't rarely get triple digits like that. Okay, so that's really big significance as far as I'm concerned. Now, the world in 2017 right here. Can we decode that? You bet your ass we can. And the world in 2017 ends up being a number 52, but if we break these words down in their aspects, the is 14, world is 22, in is 6, 2017 ends up being a number 10. Okay, we get the 14, 22, 6, 10, silicone, titanium, carbon, and neon. And when you add up these atomic weights, you get the number 107. Now, why is this important? This is huge. When you decode this, why? Because the element silver on the periodic table ends up being an atomic weight of 107, matching that of the world in 2017. So is there some correlation to this silver? I mean, the moon supposedly, if you follow the whole esoteric aspect, has some correlations to the element silver. And then, the Royal Society of Chemistry decided to throw in this picture right here to represent silver. And of course, that may be Neptune's staff or the end of the staff. I don't know. But anyway, the other big standout is 11.5, the group and period that silver's in. 11.5. The element moscovium is 115. And we can really decode that if we wanted to. But really the standout here, ladies and gentlemen, not only the 107 matching up with that 107 right there, but it's the 47 that's so relevant to this entire key right here. And the reason being is because I believe it's all related to the tetragrammaton. The word tetragrammaton equals the number 47, just like the word Washington, D.C., just like the word White House, just like the word Georgetown, as in Georgetown University, which is right down the street from the White House. All these equal the number 47. Do you think that when they decided upon these words, they would sit down and try to figure these out? I don't know. I wasn't there. So we really can't say for sure with accuracy whether or not they sat down with the numerology and really wrote these things out like that. I think there's some kind of divine aspects behind this. I just think it's too complex. Let's give it the respect it deserves. But I mean, again, the 47, when you break the tetragrammaton down in its 5-syllable aspect, and you break it down in the cards, and you break it down using the elements of the periodic table, you end up getting the number 96, which is a mirror of the 69. The 69 is littered all over the esoteric place. And then, of course, to make things even more crystal clear, I think you can ask this questions. And I asked it, how do you spell your name? You get the number 96. All related to the number 47, ladies and gentlemen, which is related to this element right here, which is related to this right here. I mean, you could even decode this if you want, Planet Trump. I didn't decode that. I'll leave that up to you, the observer. But what do you guys see? 107, silver, tetragrammaton. You know, is this what we're seeing? Are we seeing the divine talking to us through man? And is it the divine running the show? I don't know. But I do know that the Ark of the Covenant, in my opinion, these are just my opinions and expressions, by the way, you don't have to agree with them, but I believe the Ark of the Covenant is the number 37. This is a very special number. 3 is the creative mind. 7 is the perfect number. God rested on the 7th day. Ends up being a 10, which is Wheel of Fortune, which ends up being a 1, which is the Magician. But the Ark of the Covenant, the 37, it's right there. It's embedded in Marvel's movies, and it's embedded in this entire symbolism through the Economist magazine. 144,000. I mean, it's all over the place. 33, got the Masonic 33. Revelation 21 verses 6. 216, the Divine Triangle. What do you see, ladies and gentlemen? What is it that you see? That's all I get for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. I appreciate you watching.